All right, Kiss Army, welcome to the KissFAQ Podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope we don't do any damage. We hope that you enjoy. Welcome to episode 327. Wait, that sounds like a car engine. A 327 Shelby, wasn't it?
Ooh, yeah.
Well, whatever. Episode 327 of the KissFAQ Podcast. We are not a car.
327, 328, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Mr. Mom.
Very good.
I don't know who I am. It feels like I've done so many shows this
Right.
week. Yeah, I'm Julian. I'm your host. Today I'm joined by Lonnie and Ken. This is a completely ad hoc KissFAQ podcast. It was not planned, and that will become very apparent very quickly. Right? At least one of us has a beer, I hope.
I do.
Lucky you. All right, so today we're not going to really do much about anything. We're going to go into board topics because it's Friday and the fan just hit the poop. We may get to that one. I'm not sure. We'll have to see what people feel like talking about. And talking about delays, the Kiss Alive has been slightly delayed shipping-wise. I got a notification from Kiss Online today that it was going to be shipping on October the 22nd, so just a minor.
Well, that's what they originally said. So I don't know why it says it's delayed when that was the original date. I think that I had in an older email. So it seems to me it's on time or on schedule, but whatever. We'll see what happens next week.
I don't actually even read the emails. I just, scan them quickly and then miss all the important information and then wonder why I have no idea where my stuff is. And then something arrives, I'm like, ooh, I don't remember ordering that. Random stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so that's one thing that's been delayed today. Let freedom rock. Why don't we start with wishing everyone traveling to Nashville this weekend. I hope that you all have a good weekend and don't catch COVID. That Vinny has a great event and that you are fully entertained and that one of you manages to sneak a camera. Really?
A secret video camera.
Yes, and it doesn't get confiscated as you're dragged out the door and chucked out onto the street in front of traffic. What are your thoughts and expectations? I think Vinny has said, at least indirectly through the secret websites that I'm not a member of, that this was going to be filmed for a DVD. Should we put any bets on how expensive that DVD is going to be and how it will only be available to people in a special group? Or is there anything that you would like to see Vinny do on a DVD in 2020, Lonnie?
I'd like to see him shred. I want to see him shred. That we've heard that he can. I have not seen it, nor have I really heard it. We've said people have been at these private events that say, "Oh no, he can still play." I'm like, okay, well, let me hear it. I was in Atlanta. I didn't see a whole lot of shredding in Atlanta, so I'd like to really hear him play for the first time in quite some time. Do I think a DVD is gonna? I don't see a DVD of this coming out. I mean, let's be realistic. But I just don't. Is it going to be filmed? I guess it could be filmed. I don't see a DVD release. And if it is released on DVD, it'll probably be through the website that you have to pay a membership for, and it'll still be ungodly on top of that. So it's not going to be in my collection, I guess. So, I mean, again, and I've said it on the show before, I wish the guy nothing but the best. I know he's had his share of letting people down. I know that he has his own demons, but I'm not here to pull anyone down. I always wish for the best in people, no matter what. So I hope the event goes smoothly. I hope he films it. I hope he puts it out on DVD. I wish him nothing but the best.
Yeah, because 23 years later, people are not still mad at Vinny for taking payment for a product and not delivering it, are they?
Well, no. Julian, we were told in Atlanta that box set was going to come out that year in 18.
And you were going to get 2 copies.
That's true.
And I was going to get 2 copies.
You're going to get 2 empty boxes.
I don't even have the box.
Along with a Ginsu knife and a shred-o-matic. Yeah. Now, how much would you pay, say, for a Vinnie Vincent video if it was guaranteed to include shredding? And I'm not even going to define how long, but if there was video proof on that DVD and it wasn't just the salad being served, how much would you pay for a video?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll go. I would pay maybe $30, but I wouldn't just want shredding. For these people who are going to see the show, I'd hope to get some kind of word of mouth on what happened, and enough maybe that happened that got me excited about buying the DVD. Maybe. So that's what I would look for. That's the only reason I would. And then I say, okay, yeah, he did maybe shredded. He did some songs and stories kind of thing. That's what I'd like to see on it. Yeah, definitely electric guitar. I don't want just acoustic guitar. He can do both. I want more, electric, and some singing, too. But yeah, if like Lonnie said, shred, at least do a little bit of that. It'd be nice to see if he still has his chops. So yeah, I'm just saying $30 for like a 90 minutes, 60 to 90 minute video or something.
Yeah, it sounds ballpark for me. And, I just joke about the salad because I find that absolutely hilarious. I was actually reading on another website today that Snoop Dogg has a cookbook, or had a cookbook called From Crook to Cook. And of course, people were kind of laughing about the catering at the previous events. And, to be perfectly honest, come on, that's cool. He took care of people, provided food at the events and all that. So I'm not I'm not mocking it. It is just a, kind of funny soundbite to throw in there. Yeah, $30. I mean, if he was standing up on there with a drum machine, his effects, pedals, and just going metal tech for 60 to 90, well, actually, Metal Tech was, 60 minutes, so around that length would be kind of fun. Or if he was breaking down his solos, not necessarily, playing them all the way full. And we've talked about it before, and I do like the songs and stories. I do like to here's how I constructed my solo. Here's the solo off a song on All Systems Go that, was edited down by those evil label suits and all that. That would be fun. It doesn't have to be full song performances, with singing, but, bits and pieces. It could be very schizophrenic and all over the place. Go from blues jam, you switch, press a button on a pedal and go to something else, wherever it kind of takes him. I'd like him to have some notes there, some things to cover, but just for kind of the music and the guitar and the flow to take him on a little guitar journey. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was a little bit like Speedball Jam, which is a lot of unstructured cacophony in some ways, but there are still techniques that can be seen. I'd like to see his picking style. But, I just don't see them having a full pro film crew in there, to capture it on kind of the level, Lonnie, $30?
$30, $40 tops. I can't justify paying more than that. I mean, it's, I would like to hear the songs and stories. I think that's a great idea. Like, he did a little bit of that in Atlanta when he was talking about how he went over to Gene's house and how they wrote I Love It Loud. I thought that was great. That's this is what I'm here for. This is why I came down here. It's exactly for this. So I love something like that. Talk about how he wrote songs off the Invasion albums. Talk about how he wrote songs off Creatures, off of Lick It Up, off of Revenge. Talk about those times. I think people would eat that up. So, again, I wish him nothing but the best. I hope it happens. I hope that everybody stays safe. I hope that Vinny is great. I hope you get your money's worth. I really do.
Yep.
Yeah. No disagreement there. I still wonder why he doesn't do something like a Patreon. People subscribe and
his
pay.
minions would eat it up.
And even some of his not so minions. I'd throw bucks in. He said, need to raise such and such, and I'll put up a video of me talking about Unholy. Because then he's been paid for his effort. and you're part of something exclusive. You know, though he has to accept that the moment he puts anything up and out, some twit on YouTube is going to lift the video and put it on there. So get paid up front and, you know, then just wash your hands of it, you know, emotionally detach yourself from it because your membership has paid for it. But just know that some of those members are utter swine who will, you know, do that sort of thing. Just accept it. Welcome to 2020. So that would be cool. I prefer that idea to say I'm going to film this event in Nashville, but I can't wait to hear about it and compare it with the previous ones. I was on the fence again about going because I do have airline credit from the Council cruise, and you know Nashville at this time of year I would hope is not as hot as August is, but then again San Francisco's hot enough today. All right, let's move into another topic perhaps. And Ken, what have you found?
Well, about which song does not belong on Creatures of the Night? So, it was a poll. I guess, you know, pick a song that you don't think really fits or belongs, you know, with the others on the album. And I guess secondary. You know, what if you pulled that song, what would you replace it with?
Well, what's the answer?
Well, I'll start. I mean, to me, it was always "I Still Love You," though it's a good song. It fit in a way to be a nice change of pace, I guess. On the album, a little, you know, slow down, but it's not one of my favorite songs. I mean, I like it, but it's not one of my favorites. So I think I would have dropped that off, and I would have put "It's My Life" on there instead, in its place. Maybe a different song order, you know, that may adjust the, you know, flow of the album a little bit, but I would put "It's My Life." They should have done that. Really should have done it. And they didn't need a, you know, power. I guess that's how you call that, a power ballad on the album. They could have just rocked the whole way through.
Lonnie.
100%. That "I Still Love You" is the one song that doesn't really belong on there. I ran to. What did I say? Did I say?
Shakes his head.
What did I say? I still.
Someone doesn't agree.
Okay, fine. But "I Still Love You" doesn't really belong on there. I ran to Creatures the other day, you know, and I knew that song was coming. I'm like, oh, it's gonna suck when I got to run the 6 minutes of "I Still Love You," but and it just doesn't fit on there. So, you know, I agree with you that "It's My Life," you know, would have fit perfectly on Creatures, and if not, you know, "Not for the Innocent" with the exchanging vocals of Gene and Paul would have fit in well, too. So, you know, and then put "It's My Life" on "Look It Up." So I think it's a shame that "It's My Life" wasn't on a Kiss record in the early 80s. I really agree with you on that, Ken. So I would drop "I Still Love You" and put on either "It's My Life" or "Not for the Innocent." It's my answer. Julian, let's hear how Ken and I are both wrong.
Well, you're not, because you're absolutely right about "It's My Life." Oh. That I agree with. But "I Still Love You" I think was just ahead of its time, and I would have gotten rid of "Keep Me Coming," which I find one of the weakest tracks on the album. I would not get rid of the ballad because it does have a change of tempo and mood on the album, which as a heavy album, it's like you're being throttled with metallic assault, song after song after song, and then you all of a sudden have a power ballad. So I find it a nice contrast. But "It's My Life" would be a great addition. But I also think a couple of the songs from Killers, which wasn't released in the United States, would have made sense to include. And I kind of debate "Nowhere to Run," because then you'd have two kind of power ballads on the album. But I think Paul Stanley would approve of having two power ballads and really good ones on the same album. Especially if he knew in hindsight that it wasn't going to sell anyway.
I don't consider Nowhere to Run a power ballad. I know it has its acoustic part, but I never considered that a power ballad. It's just the way I feel about that song.
What would you?
Anyway.
I agree with you to a certain extent. I just can't think of another way to describe it as a song, because it's not, your usual sort of dynamic rock song. It doesn't seem to do it justice.
And maybe they would have recorded it differently, on Creatures, because Creatures, they did record in a certain way. Because that was kind of more of a tryout, Michael James Jackson and Killers, I would think. None of those songs sound like anything on Creatures. Really, nothing.
Closer to looking up.
Especially production-wise, either, right? The drums.
Nothing sounds like Creatures.
Nothing.
No.
So, yeah. So, if they would have maybe mixed it and recorded it like the rest of the songs on Creatures, it would have come out a little heavier. I don't know. They may have replaced the acoustic with electric, on that song, possibly too. I don't know.
Yeah, I just like the idea of, here's a band coming back to, its metal roots, and instead of, having such a short album of 9 songs, get rid of that one clunker, but also have It's My Life, Nowhere to Run, Down on Your Knees, and Back on the Streets.
Back on the Streets is a great answer as well. Great answer.
If you remember years ago, like that album flat circulated, which had the track listing on the back of it that had Back on the Streets listed. Right. I don't know where that came from, but I find it really interesting that it was on there. But imagine in 1982, you're coming off The Elder, which was a pretty long album, I think, 11 songs, especially with the long outro. And now you come back with this slab, and it's got all this metal, but it's also got those 3, I Still Love You, Nowhere to Run, Back on the Streets. It could be 2 sides of the same kind of reinvigorated band, ending with It's My Life. It would just have been.
It was already a great album.
Oh, for sure.
Coming off The Elder, and it could have been even greater. Really, it could have been just almost a perfect, album. And I don't know, still at that point, I don't think it would have saved their career, even though it was, it could have been that. But yeah, I don't know.
Even if you put It's My Life and you put Back on the Streets, make it 11 songs. Would it really? And that would have made as much as we all love Creatures, that would have made Creatures that much more greater. But would it have sold any more? Probably not.
Well, who knows? Because Vinny managed to place Back on the Streets with 3 Speed for Voyage of the Space Alien soundtrack. Now imagine if Kiss got that soundtrack spot. At least it would have been higher visibility, because Ken's looking at me like, what the hell movie is that? It's like...
What the hell are you talking about?
I missed that one.
It's like the Pirates movie from '81, So... with what's his name? Pia Zadora. That's her name, of course. Zadora. So, a longer album, a couple of these songs, I don't think it would have made a difference whatsoever to Kiss's history. I think they were just passé in 1982, and they had to go through what they went through to rebuild in order to get to the reunion.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. But that was a great topic on the board, actually. So, Lonnie, how about you?
I got one. It's kind of a ridiculous topic, but it is the KissFAQ message board. So, I questioned it. The topic I went with is choose a Kiss song to have a box set. So, one song, an entire box set of one Kiss song. So I just got to thinking about that. And there has to be, in order for that to even work, as crazy as that sounds, in order that for work, there has to be, just off the top of my head, even just multiple different versions of this song to make it work. And the song I settled on is Black Diamond, because they've played it live throughout their career. So you can have the demo of Black Diamond, you get the studio version of Black Diamond, you could find some old clubs, some old stuff where they played Black Diamond in 73, 74. You have like the Alive version of it. You could have with Eric Carr singing on it, with Eric Singer singing on it. That cool outro they did in the 80s. And now they brought that cool outro back in recent years too. I think Black Diamond would work for something like that. Would a box set work with one song for a whole box set? Absolutely not. It's a ridiculous idea. But if it were to happen, I think Black Diamond would be a good choice, because there are so many there's three different people have sung Black Diamond, for crying out loud, between Peter, Eric Carr, and Eric Singer. There's three different vocalists for that song over the years. So if such a crazy idea could happen, I think that's the song that I would choose. What about you guys?
Ken?
I posted on that, but I joked. I was joking, and I put no, meaning no. They shouldn't make a box out of any song. Box set out of just one song for Kiss. I couldn't pick a song really, but I did, like you, I did think of Black Diamond, because that's really kind of has gone down as my all-time favorite Kiss song. So I can see that, but man, having a box set on just one song is really tough. I don't think I guess there has been a couple other box sets like that from other artists, maybe.
I think there has been. I think that's where the idea came from.
Yeah, and but I don't think even the Beatles, for instance, have had that. They've had box sets around, Sgt. Pepper's and stuff like that, which has alternate versions of this and that. But I can't see going to a full box set of just one song. I may listen to it once and then put it away, kind of thing. I'd rather have a box set of, again, a whole album, or their whole career, a proper box set of everything, one way or the other. Though, yeah, definitely a whole album. I'd love them to do a box set of each of their albums. I think that would be cool. So yeah, I can't really pick a song, but I agree with Black Diamond, though.
Yeah, I think let's put the X. No, I don't. I can't think I wouldn't be able to stomach any box on just one song and all the different versions. I think it's interesting, and who hasn't? Well, I have done spreadsheets of all the different versions before. So I think I'm just going to leave that patheticness on paper and not wish it to be transformed into reality, because that's just it's an interesting topic of conversation in a pub after 17 absinthes.
Well, Julian, if they did, let's put the X's, they could, have a selling point of like a little cut, fabric pieces of Paul Stanley's thong in there as that picture anymore. Oh God. Anyway.
Well, wait, I'm wearing Paul Stanley thong color T-shirt today.
You are. Show it off a little bit,
All right, moving on rapidly. Here we go. Kiss, the biggest head scratchers. This was a topic by Choose One. For all we're told of Gene and Paul's business acumen, I'm paraphrasing, and their money first attitude, they've made some really bad decisions along the way, mostly from a musical point of view, that has left me shocked at what a bad decision it was at that time and still is. What are some of the biggest head scratchers that come to mind? And I think that person's second choice of Alive 3, the song selection, is absolutely spot on. Really a humongous head scratcher that the album was basically nothing more than a glorified greatest hits album live, rather than a representation of material live following, the classic era, to this day as well. I will never understand why they didn't just release something with Eric Carr as Alive 3 if they were going to do that. Maybe one album, one CD a Live 3 with Eric, one CD, a Live 3 with the new Eric holding you. So just that would be one head scratcher. Lonnie.
I think that's a great answer. Is that the Alive 3 is a big head scratcher. Like you said, it is just a glorified greatest hits. Why you didn't follow the formula you had with Alive 1 or Alive 2, that we're not going to repeat any songs. There's plenty of hits or plenty of popular songs, at least, that they had between Alive 2 and by the time Alive 3 came out, and they could really showcase Eric Carr, and maybe the last few songs were off of Revenge, and you can showcase Eric Singer on that portion of it, or just something. I did think that is a head scratcher. One thing that comes to mind for me, and this is really more along of a merchandising thing, but when Guitar Hero was such a big craze, and they had Beatles Guitar Hero, and they had Aerosmith Guitar Hero, Kiss was the perfect band for Guitar Hero. I mean, they had the Gene Simmons bass guitar for Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
Why? And remember Aerosmith? It was like in this big box. And I think it was Aerosmith did like Rock Band, and was in like this big box. And Kiss, you could have like the drums with the logo on it. You could have the Gene Simmons Axe bass. You could have an Ace Frehley type guitar. You could have a Paul Stanley type guitar. Kiss was the perfect band for Guitar Hero because it's so iconic and so image centric that Guitar Hero or Rock Band or whatever would have worked perfect. And you could have started in the clubs in New York City and work your way up through different stages of, the Alive stage, the Destroyer stage, Love Gun, Dynasty, and then you work your way through the 80s until you get to the Reunion, and it's just as big as you could possibly have it. I think that, and why that didn't happen, we're not privy to that information. Gene and Paul might have wanted more money than the video games were planning to give them, which is more than likely the answer. But as popular as those games were in like 2009, 2010, whatever it was, I never understood why that didn't happen. Because they were the perfect band for that. And as far as musical things too, the guy mentioned Psycho Circus, which is like the slam dunk answer as well. Why didn't you have Eddie Kramer produce it? Why didn't you have, Mark's favorite producer produce it? So just, why the product that came out didn't live up to the expectations. But to me, it's a Rock Band, and it would really help them in that phase of their career in those years, just with popularity. Is like they were riding off of Gene's coattails of Gene Simmons' Family Jewels at that point. Why not put that out there at that point? It would have made perfect sense.
Yeah, really good one with the Rock Band. You win, Ken.
I agree with the Rock Band. I was looking forward to hopefully them putting something out at the time, and when we saw maybe a song or two out there on Rock Band or Guitar Hero, and of course the controller, Gene Simmons Axe bass. They did have back in the, I want to say it was the 90s, early 90s, something like that. Or it had to be mid 90s, mid to late 90s, because I'm just thinking about the technology at the time. But they had a thing that was like Rock Band, and it was an Aerosmith game on a computer. And I had it, and it came with a guitar pick thing connected. It was like a guitar pick, kind of a little oversized, and it had a wire on it. And it plugged into the computer. And you would, the same kind of thing. You would try to play with, the music or whatever, the band, part of the band. I can't remember the whole thing. I had it. I remember that a little bit about it, but I remember it was kind of, fun to do. But I think they were the start of the whole thing, but even before those other console games regarding that type of thing. But anyway, so I agree with that. And then the other thing about Julian, your Live, and when you said Live 3, I thought, came to my mind right away. Yeah, they should Animalize Live Uncensored should have been a Live 3. That was a big miss in 84, was it 84 or 85? So that was a huge miss. They should have had a live tweet right then and there. It would have been a great thing to happen with Eric on the album, Eric Carr, that is. So as for my own, that was one of them. Like I said, the live 3 that sparked my thoughts about that. There's been a lot of head scratchers, but I just think of some things like these things that they've done, like playing for the Sharks. As a three-piece band in Australia or whatever, because Paul was sick at the time or whatever, and stuff like that, where you're missing a member of the band. Why even do that? But that's just a weird kind of a sellout point to me. Is it makes it look like, yes, I'll do anything for the money kind of thing.
What?
They must, I know. They must have got a lot of money for that one. I don't know. They must have got a lot of money to just go and do that, because that was kind of hokey. Because I remember looking at the back, they're on this boat. I thought it was going to be on a big ship, but no, they're on this little, smaller than like the SS Minnow on Gilligan's Island, and they're sitting on the back. You're standing on the back of this thing, and they're playing while it's moving. I think, or I don't know, it's moving, but then there's a little smoke. Well, just a little bit of
some steam,
like fog, or whatever you want.
If anything was ever Spinal Tap-ish, the little puffs of smoke.
That was Spinal Tap-ish. It's like, this is what they're doing. It's like, what?
So this is where we're at, huh?
They couldn't come up with anything more exciting. A bigger boat. We need a bigger boat. Yeah, it's like the thing with the Spinal Tap. Yeah, Stonehenge. It's kind of equivalent to the boat size, It's like, wait a minute, we asked for, 300-foot boat, not a whatever. But so that was a thing, and they've done a few things like that in the past.
Yeah, there's been plenty of head scratchers. I think one of the biggest ones that really still gets me to this day is the lack of a live worldwide full pro concert video and album release in between all those compilations that came out in 96 and Psycho Circus coming out in 98. It's a shock. It's a shame. Well, I don't think we'll ever get it.
Someone should put something together like that.
Yeah. Some fans should put something together and kind of
needs to do that.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
It'd be nice, to see that.
I think the fans would appreciate that.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm just sitting there looking at the board right now. The Walmart Love Gun pre-order was finally came out, and I just clicked on it, and it's out of stock.
It's sold out already.
Already.
Pre-order. Well, I got my copy.
I did not get mine. So if I was about to change my mind and get a vinyl pressing that pretty much matches Lonnie's wall, I missed my chance. But then again, the Ace Target Edition Origins 2 came back in stock as well, and I ordered a couple copies, which one I'll probably give away, and one,
Well, the Love Gun thing, the splatter vinyl that, obviously it sold out or whatever. The pre-order sold out in a day. They'll probably print more of that, I'm guessing, because they did the same thing, with Destroyer Resurrected was, that's had sold out from what I remember too. And I thought everyone thought it was gone, and all of a sudden it's back. So they obviously, printed it. It doesn't say limited, I don't think. I think it says it's just exclusive to Walmart. So who knows how many they're going to really press of those.
All right, let's move on to another topic from the board. Without touring, Kiss is useless.
I was gonna say without Kiss, touring is useless. But you can the other way too.
Yeah, so what are your thoughts on that? I mean, this person really kind of took offense at no back catalog releases. Well, we've just talked about a couple, and we'll be talking about some more shortly. No record store day releases. Again, I think we've gone through that there must be a reason why they're not able to do anything for that. No online videos from band members. Well, I seem to remember Paul doing some sit down and play songs and tell stories. I know that Eric's done some podcast appearances. I don't know if Tommy's done anything. I don't remember. But there have been limited. I know Keith, even just today, had a tour of the warehouse because they were digging through Paul's guitars. So,
The painted guitars.
And yeah, you've seen, Paul and his new painted guitar designs.
Yeah.
Going through this continuing list of griping, no outreach whatsoever, no rumblings of capitalizing on their free time and doing a final record. I think that ship has sailed, so time just to get back to reality. Not even a new song, or not even an old new song or new old song. No fun interviews. Well, Ace is doing lots of fun interviews. No rumors on stuff to come. Well, it's probably better not to talk about stuff that might be coming out in case it doesn't happen.
Doesn't ever come out.
Yeah. Don't tease people. Maybe do a pre-sale. No Kissology 4. Nothing. Well, okay, I get it. That's kind of, overdoing it a bit. That's a bit melodramatic. Because, again, there is some stuff that has been done. But no, they're not doing like Metallica Mondays, which have stopped. I'm very disappointed at that they must have run out of fan videos to tell and to show, and are now having their minions fast at work making new ones from scraps. Yeah, no new music. I mean, Bon Jovi just released a new album, For Better or Worse. That was kind of recorded. But
Is that the name of the album, or is that the...
Well, For Better or Worse? No, they call theirs
2020 is the name of the album.
2020.
Okay. I was going to say the name of the album should be called For Better or Worse.
Be careful what you wish for if you want new music.
But Ken, what do you think? Without touring, is Kiss useless? And I guess you could take that statement any way you want.
Are they useless? I see his point. I mean, we're really getting nothing other than the vinyl releases, or if they do some kind of... I think that's it. I mean, we're not going to... It's merchandise. It's maybe some celebrations of the anniversaries of the albums with, T-shirts and other mugs and whatnot. But there's really nothing else to be excited about. I mean, the last hope kind of excitement is always touring, to go see them live and, hear them that way, in the environment and the full show and everything. So, anything else, it's very slow in the Kiss world outside of these, records and that merch kind of stuff. I would hope they would do a song. I mean, I pre-ordered I ordered the AC/DC album. And, I haven't heard anything but the one song. I'm like, oh, that sparked my interest enough to buy it, and I hope the rest is similar or close to that. I have a feeling it might be. So why can't I understand Paul can't sing. They can do tricks in the studio. They can do tricks and things. And does he have to sing all the songs or half the songs? Maybe not. Have Gene sing a little more and the other guys sing. Eric's a great singer, right? Have him sing 2 to 3 songs. Why not? But I don't think... The problem is, I think Paul's ego, he wouldn't allow that. If I can't, it's like, if I can't sing, I'm not going to, waste my time doing this album or whatever. Yeah, and they talk about the, monetary thing. Well, it's not going to sell. All these other bands are putting this music out. That, even smaller bands, they put albums out. They're doing it for their pleasure, and then maybe for fans. And they're not making a ton of money off of it. I just don't get it. So that's something I think, and they like the person said who posted this thing. Well, just one song, even. How difficult is it to do one song and put it out?
Yeah.
So
Gene vocal.
I agree.
Yeah, I would like something, but then again, even with all the studio magic that they could probably pull off, he still hears himself singing.
Mm-hmm.
So is that?
You mean sing the way his
before
he used to sing,
before the filters hit to make it maybe work for release? He still hears, he still feels, he still knows. And again, with stuff like Soul Station, he probably is singing that pretty natural because he's able to do so. So I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't know Paul Stanley. I don't see him. It's just like a guess. No matter what trickery goes on behind the curtain to make it consumable, the artist still knows that.
Well, hold it right there. I mean, if you're talking about that, you got to talk about the live show. He's doing it there too. So, what's the difference between doing it there and doing it for an album?
I have no response to that whatsoever, other than to try and change the subject.
Speaking of, well, I'm not going. Speaking of that, in talking about is Kiss useless and without touring? Well, and we mentioned a little bit ago, why wasn't there a live album or a live concert release of the reunion tour? Well, we've been sitting around since March. Put out an end of the road CD. Put out an end of the road DVD.
Yeah.
That could have worked in the last few months. Okay, granted, we still want to one day, hopefully, eventually, possibly go back out and complete this run. But in the meantime, here's a souvenir for you guys that saw us on the first half or whatever of this tour. Here's a video of it. Here's a CD of it. Here's something to commemorate this end of the road tour. Why not put they're recording it every night. Why not put something up like that? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, or at least post Andrews one last time. I mean,
yeah, put that up on Kiss.
God, it's all ready to go, guys. And it's done really well, and it's 800 million views. I mean, it's done.
They could
really
put something together and sold a bunch of DVDs or whatever.
Yeah, for the ability to record stuff remotely these days, though. One thing I did dig out of my collection the other day for the first time in quite a while was Eric's Singer Project. I got the Japanese version of that. That's got 14 songs in it. And, especially with Ace having done 2 volumes of Origins and cover songs and stuff that go back to their histories, I wouldn't mind Eric doing another volume, ESP2. I mean, with Bruce as well. Not necessarily with Krabby. Cool. And who else was on there? Was that Chuck? No, Chuck was on the live, I think.
Chuck was on the live version.
And was it Carl on the it was Carl Cochran on the original. So I would like to hear some more of Eric's roots, and I would like to see him doing some of the things like Paul was doing. Talking about drumming. Just little 5-minute video clips of him talking about a song approaching a recording, or just talking about a band or a thing. That would be kind of fun. Mm-hmm. Kiss, I understand Gene and Paul. Paul's obviously off in his own world. You see him posting pictures of his food, of his bike rides, his political pontifications at times as well. He's just being himself and doing his thing now, and he looks very much what he would be doing after Kiss. Mm-hmm. Is kind of the scary part, that you're almost seeing the future in some ways. Where is Gene? Gene, I just
Canada.
Is he in Canada, and is the Wi-Fi really really bad up there?
Ask Mark. I don't know.
We know from Mark that sometimes it is.
Well, we saw that. There's a thing he talked about, Gene, the video about Eddie Van Halen, right?
Yeah. So he
had some comments about that.
Yeah, he was able to get an internet connection and do that kind of stuff, and it I can't think of too many other times over the past few months that we've seen, much of Gene, which is very, very worrying. That someone so bellicose and loud and brash, all of a sudden is kind of like,
quiet. Yeah.
Quiet.
Like, hopefully, you hope there's nothing wrong or anything.
Well, he's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, didn't he had COVID, right?
No, I don't think he got
I remember he was sick back, when was he sick? Maybe it was before COVID. God, when was he sick?
COVID's gone on so long now, it's hard to remember.
I can't remember, but I remember Shannon dropping pizza over
I remember that.
railed down to him. Was that before COVID?
That was before.
Or was it, maybe it was COVID?
And maybe it was COVID.
They didn't know what it was at the time. It's like,
for sure.
Yeah.
It's possible, I guess.
So is Kiss useless without touring? No. Kiss is eternal. That's my answer to that question. Because there will always be something. I think let's look at what has been happening during this enforced downtime. I think there have been missed opportunities, but I think they have kept churning out all these vinyl releases: Dressed to Kill, Unmasked,
Double Platinum, Alive.
The ones I missed. Yeah. So that is cool. Another good thing that's just started circulating for people are those MQA Japanese CDs. And someone pointed out on Facebook that the version of Take Me Away, Together as One, is different.
I saw that.
And
what's different?
It's got a longer ending section without the fade out or however it ends on the album. Take Me Away.
Oh, Take Me Away, Together as One.
And I Can't Stop the Rain is apparently slightly different. So I'm now regretting ordering all four because I have to wait until November for mine to ship. And if I'd known, I would have gotten one because I always compare CDs to the album versions just in case something like that does come in. And apparently someone mentioned these were originally present on the French Vogue pressing, which I'm like, well, bugger, I sold mine. So I wasn't able
I have that pressing. It's not in good shape, but I'll have to check it out now.
Yeah. Cool. So something interesting to look at. Talking about the kind of the vinyl pressings that have come out this year so far. Now that you've seen them, now that you've seen other bands and what they're doing with some of their vinyl designs, and particularly Ace's Origins Volume 2, I really did gush over how the Smoky Target edition looked, as it really looked like a galaxy. And I've seen some people's blue and white ones showing up now, which look, spectacular for their design. For future possible Kiss anniversary or celebratory releases, what albums would you like to see? And, today, what are some of the kind of ideas that you're starting to think about for some of these designs? Ken, let's just start with you.
Well, the Unmasked one, I think we talked about before, should have been the Asylum. That would have worked perfect for the Asylum vinyl. But, some of the designs, let me think about one. Look It Up, to me, they haven't done anything with that one. That one could be
purple.
No,
you could do purple with white, or do.
I say white with a black spot.
Definite white, with black spot, which is what they kind of did with the first Kiss album, and that didn't come out. It came out, you had one little black spot on it. So, or they do a splatter. I mean, it looks like they're getting better at doing it now. The designs are a little bit better, or the record companies are able to. They've figured out a routine to put these pellets in a certain way and make these biscuits so when they press it, it'll look the right way. So that one, definitely, I agree with Lonnie. They're white on Lick It Up. Maybe, you could put in black. You could put a little bit of, like you said, that purple. That's a possibility because of the shirt on Vinny there. But I don't know if Kiss would approve that. Another one, I think about Animalize, go to the next album after that. That's a tough one. if they could come somehow
Some
make
tiger stripes
something
on
that looks like or I want to say picture disc.
Tiger stripes. I like that.
Oh.
Yeah, tiger or zebra kind of thing. If they could pull that off, that'd be kind of pretty cool.
Or because of the lyrics of like "Heaven's on Fire,"
A fiery
vinyl.
Fiery kind of make it look like it's flames somehow. I don't know.
No,
Yeah.
do you remember the video when he jumps through the flaming hoop?
Yes.
If you could have like the flaming hoop in the vinyl.
Can I have Paul jumping
Yeah,
through the
but
flame?
you almost have to do a picture disc on that.
No one would get it, other than complete Kiss nerds.
The picture discs are kind of they really don't sound good. I mean, the picture disc that they the double platinum they did recently, that I can see, they used the most recent recording, but the sound of it it's not a quiet, it's just, it doesn't sound that great compared to your regular vinyl that's not a picture disc in it. So it's kind of tough. I know we've gone through these before. Hopefully, the splatter designs are getting better. So I'm thinking they're going to do a lot more of that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but
it's getting very old hat though. So and I haven't really done much research on this and tried to find out, can you do different shapes of biscuits? So you start off with your round one, and then can you punch out a star shape and put that on top in a different color and stuff like that? There have been. I don't follow it close enough to know.
Think of this. Just like remember the Look It Up single, that was a shape. It was kind of cut out, but inside there was a 45.
Right, but that was cut out.
I have had another one. I want to say it was the Police or something had one too in the past. It was like shaped like a badge, like a police badge. And I know I've seen the star. Yeah, they can do that, but it's going to have to fit on the album, or you're going to have to have multiple copies. If it's a full album, you're going to have to maybe have 2 songs on the side kind of thing, or 3 songs max, because you don't want to go wider outside the platter.
Right. Yeah, and I'm not talking one that's been trimmed, because that is like with that 45 that you're talking about. That was actually that's pressed on a big piece of vinyl and then trimmed around to meet the design. I'm talking about taking like say an orange biscuit and you put it. They're circular. And you put it on top of the label, and then you take like a star-shaped, different color, and put that one next, and then the next label. And then when you press it, just like you do with sprinkles on to get the different design because of the heat and the pressure, that I just don't know. Is that even possible?
It's a little different. I'll show you one, but you continue while I find something.
All right. So my thought is Creatures of the Night. You need to have colors that complement the back cover and the white and the cobalt blue. And again, it's probably because Ace's blue one just, started arriving and people are showing off their pictures of that. But I think that kind of design would look really good as Creatures. Even better if you can get some little like white sprinkles in there as the lightning, very thin. That would be kind of the cool one. The other one is The Elder, which is never going to get done. But, again, the colors of the album cover kind of dictate to me some of the stuff I'd like to see. And, I would just like to see kind of that pressed as a wood grain, brown vinyl, put some black on it somehow so that when it presses out, it looks like a piece of wood, which probably is an excuse to never play it. So, Lonnie, did you pick?
I could. I like the idea of a Lick It Up, like a white Lick It Up with a black splatter on it. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't say something about having a Revenge album, which I think is almost as likely as an Elder release. But like a marble with a red splatter on Revenge, I think would be perfect for that album. But I mean, will that ever happen? I really don't know. They've really shied away from the non-makeup albums to begin with. I mean, they did a Hot in the Shade last year, but that's, unless I'm mistaken, that's it for the non-makeup albums. And I think that's really a shame that they've ignored, once again, ignored that history of the band. But I don't have my hopes up for it. I would love to have it, but I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah, they did Dynasty. Didn't they do Dynasty?
Dynasty, they have makeup on. What are you talking about?
No, I mean for color vinyl. Didn't they do that?
They did Dynasty for color.
The green.
Yeah, and I missed that.
But they did. But as far as non-makeup album goes, they did Hot in the Shade, and that's it.
Talk about an insult to Peter Criss. Green vinyl for Dynasty. Really?
Yeah.
Way to rub it in. All right, Ken, what do you have?
Well, this is, I mean, I have another one that's similar to this, but it's like split into three. But this was a Steve Miller Band, Fly Like an Eagle.
Nice.
Okay. We came out last year, maybe year before. So this one is cut. It's, the colors kind of, you see what black, a lot of black, and there's yellow, whatever. So there's
that's cool.
Black and yellow kind of.
That's wild. Have you played that?
Yeah. Now I have another one. It's a Paul McCartney, and I'm thinking, it's a Paul McCartney, and it's, instead of like two, it's broken out into thirds. So there's the three colors of the Venus and Mars. There's
really? Nice.
Yeah, I can pull that out. But,
that's very cool.
Yeah, so they can do things. I don't know how they do it split like that. I guess they have to have the biscuits, two halves put together and pressed.
I want to see a video of some of those cool designs being pressed in a plant. I love seeing manufacturing videos of being pressed and trimmed and the printing stuff. I find it really fascinating, just really fun to watch. Ace had some for his production run. Kiss had production runs of the Unmasked one, the printing of the poster. Actually, it was the printing shop had the poster.
Solo albums in the way back. Yeah. In the 70s, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
that old video.
Oh, I love that stuff. So anyone in the industry, I know there are probably better podcasts for you to put your video of pressing plant stuff on, where it's more appropriate for a conversation. But I think fans would love to see that sort of stuff. Have like a little tour inside. Here we are. It doesn't have to be Kiss stuff necessarily. Here's a colored vinyl for this release being, pressed. Here's how it's done. Would just be really cool. And, some of the techniques and some of the things that can be done and what are some of the limitations, what are, when we talk about pipe dreams, what is reasonable to kind of be possible depending on price point. I mean, can you put colored sparkles in, so you get like that metallic glitter? Is that doable? What is feasible? And I would think that is not, because I can just imagine a needle hitting it and snapping it, off. But, again, what is technically possible without us having to go on Google and try and figure it out for ourselves? I would love to watch that. All right. That's pretty much an hour. So unless you guys have any additional topics that you would like to add in, I'm thinking that's a nice surprise Friday episode in lieu of all the Look It's Rock and Roll podcast episodes that we put out this week. Do check it out, subscribe, retweet those, please. Mark did a fantastic one, a review of Nick Mason's Saucer Full of Secrets, which focuses on pre-Dark Side of the Moon Pink Floyd material, and of course Nick Mason was a member of the band, in case you don't know that. Who was it? Andy, myself, and Bill Elam.
You did Wasp.
We did Wasp, and we did KFD, their Dark Industrial 1997 album, whose title I'm still uncomfortable saying. And then last night, of course, and yesterday, we did the Van Halen recap for the David Lee Roth original era. So a lot of stuff from us to watch this week. We hope that you've got the time to watch some of it. Don't forget to check out what's a good podcast that I've watched this week. Decibel Geek. There's a new Kiss book coming out, The Philosophy of Kiss. I don't have the exact title in front of me. I have just ordered the book, but it was an interview with the authors of that. It was very entertaining. So check out the latest Decibel Geek one, and hopefully next week we can give a shout out to another show for a cool episode that they've put out that's worth listening to. All right, that's it for this week. So for now, from Ken, from Lonnie, and myself, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Take care. Thank you for spending time listening to the KissFAQ podcast today. All sales are final. There are no refunds. If you'd like, look us up on Facebook or come over to the KissFAQ message board and discuss the topic we've broadcast today. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes, Spreaker, or wherever you've listened to the show. We hope you'll join us again.